Guys, Vince right here. And let me tell you right now, I am not really the right person to review this. It's kind of like just out of my just this is out of my bag basically. Like I am not known for reviewing vintage movies of any sorts. But this was free on YouTube. And saw the first scene and I was like, "Okay, hold on." I just had it played. Hold on. Let me see the whole thing. Also, I heard that like many people just found out this movie like just out of nowhere. Like they're about to sleep and this was playing like kind of like the next recommended video or something, as it was recommended by other people, and pretty much yeah, a lot of them were looking at were pretty much like. But for me, I just decided to watch this. I didn't freaking sleep like the others. And also, I woke up from a nap and then this was playing. No. Usually, I sleep to ambient music and stuff like that. And, Bible readings. But this one, I just decided to watch it. Also, can I just say, I didn't know that was Robert De Niro. I'm not really the biggest fan. And also, I just realized, like, oh crap, Joe Pesci is there. Like, I understand that for any movie connoisseur that is a big fan, you're listening to a guy that usually reads like web comics online, reviewing a masterpiece, and this was a masterpiece. And by the music, by everything, it had this tone where it was very therapeutic. And there's a part of me where there is a little bit of like God is behind this. Also, I just want to say like this movie is R. It's a rated R. I am not even gonna show you where to watch it. I mean, obviously you already know where I watch it, but still, this movie is very it's rated R for a reason. It's pretty graphic. It's pretty it's pretty hyper sexualized in its sense. Like I feel like the scenes just wouldn't be okay if this was made in today's age. Like the amount of people that are ready to cancel this movie because of the R word scenes in it, if you know what I mean. It gets there. Like the women are basically treated like badly in this movie. And I feel bad. And there's a part of me where I just don't really care about the four guys in any sense, especially how they treat women in this one. It's just like, and listen, I'm not the person to usually cancel, or I'm usually the one that like very small things that I feel like it's not worth canceling, like making fun of like a woman dancing, but it has nothing to do with her gender. It's just like, oh, look at her dance, like the whole ray gun thing that has been happening right now as I'm recording this. But for this one, they were like, women are just like treated like objects to the core. And I'm just like, well, that's it's a product of its time. And I'm like, yeah, they like the way, like, just the amount of them are just, but also they seem to be walking fine and stuff like that. But just how they're treated is like insane. Just even the first scene, I'm like, what was that for? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, it went there. Like the scenes were just, especially within the sex scenes, it's really like almost tragic looking in a sense, and just like effed up. Basically, a lot of effed up moments in this one where I'm like, oh, pretty graphic movie, but I guess that's why it's so iconic. There's a lot of parts in this movie that is so hard to forget. And I'm just looking, especially this scene right here where, the four guys and pretty much the kid, which I'm not going to spoil, but there was so many like emotions, and the way it takes its time is really what gives the movie its basically its iconic flow, because of the timing of the way they zoom in and the way they You could tell that, this is sort of like really cared in a very special way where it's deeper than just like, than the story. And pretty much the story itself is also deep, but it has like, this is kind of like, it's deep in the surroundings of Noodle, of Robert De Niro's character. And he played an amazing role in this, where I feel like the silence is almost louder than the words they're speaking. You kind of have to really understand, because this is a coming of age movie where you're seeing just two parts. You see the kid version, the younger version, which just starts out to the old version of, who they are now and how they think and how their minds process. And I kind of get this, especially how we develop as we grow up, as we get older. You can definitely see how they grow up and how they really, really sort of just appeal to that sense of maturity surrounding the whole movie, the scenes, especially Noodle, which is his nickname. He has a real name. I think his name is David or something. But Noodle is kind of like, this is a deep story surrounding him of what he'd been through. His anger makes sense. His lust for women makes sense. And just the amount of stuff that goes on. And also Deborah. I feel bad. I saw the scene with Noodle and Deborah in the car. I felt, man, you could tell that when she was screaming and stuff like that, it got real. It got real. And it kind of also showcased the thing about money, that, greed versus like actual real life, actual human beings. Like, money cannot buy you everything. And you can tell that they're treating money like basically like what the heck is this? This is not my friend. This is not love. This is nothing. This is just some green paper that we all can work for if we tried or something. Now, nowadays, that's different, because we kind of do need that green paper more than ever right now. I can tell you that much, okay? But during this time, when it was cheaper, especially in the 80s, that they don't really see anything when it comes down to that greed wealth. It's kind of like you want power or you want peace. And Noodles, from the looks of it, chose peace compared to power like his other friends did. And the whole time, I'm just like, that makes sense. Because a lot of stuff that, and I know Noodle is not a saint. I saw what he did, especially in the bank robbery, especially him killing and stuff like that, but also for good reason, especially like, the way she, treat Deborah, even though later on he realized like it just wasn't a good idea, it wasn't smart for him. And you could tell that there is a reason for that, and especially as me as a grown up, because if I watched this as a kid, which I don't even know if I did watch it as a kid, it wouldn't make any damn sense. But now as an adult, I can understand. Why, basically why Noodle is the way he is from a kid to an adult. I can understand it. And, we go through those pains, especially, James Woods' character and how he is, and just like you get a good sense of just like who they really are as human beings, more so than James Woods' character and Robert De Niro's character. And not so much about the other enemies. There's parts of me where I'm like, oh crap, how is this gonna go down? This is how it really is in the mafia streets. Like, you get the wrong idea with anyone, doesn't matter how old you are. It's like, it's really is like the freaking, like the favelas, like how deep and rooted and just nasty it gets in the streets, and they try their best to survive, especially how they become like, high qualified gangsters, through Joe Pesci's or Frankie, Frankie's character. But yeah, I don't know. For this movie itself, it's been a while since I watched a mafia movie. I haven't seen a mafia movie, and pretty much that's kind of like the roots of just like how I am as a person, particularly. And, and also another thing, that this movie is, not only it made me miss New York, but also it made me, see the beauty of just like, New York in a sense, especially within the Jewish community. I'm not Jewish, but I can definitely see the beauty behind that community for sure, and how they, and I know that New York, from what I heard, is a very, Jewish area. I think there's other places, but in America, man, there ain't no more Jews at all. But in America, there's just like too many. A lot. A lot. And you can see it painted all over the streets when you see it flare. Like the moments that it has, like the magic of this movie is showing just people and just how they connect one another. It just takes one. And yeah, pretty much for this movie, I digs it. I really enjoy like how it kind of like when I heard about Once Upon in America, I heard people saying like, man, this movie is something else. And it is. It is dark. It is real. But there's something good about it. And also there's this light feeling that I got when, Child Deborah and also Child Noodle was, reading through the Bible. I think there was the Judaism Bible, which is probably different from the actual Bible. I only know the real Bible, New Testament, Old Testament, King James, those Bibles, the Christian Bible, the only Bible. And they're reading through Song of Songs. You can feel that magic. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that where it's like, man, God is speaking to me. And God is probably speaking to Noodle through all this. And even though he's not a saint in any sense, even though this ain't no Christian story, you kind of feel it. You feel a sense of it. And that's what I got, especially with the amount of stuff that he was going through. A lot of people question, like basically, Noodle. But what I realize, especially as of now, I feel like peace is just priceless. And Noodle wanted that. But sadly, knowing how complicated people are, knowing how complicated the situation and where you live and, being a product of your own environment, it's not easy. But they went through it. And it was beautiful. Beautiful. Looking forward to watch a lot of other New York masterpieces. Anyways, I'm out of these streets and one love to peace. And yeah, once upon a time in America. God bless.